tried to find this place for years. I'm not putting a whole lot of effort into it, and I just realized I left my wind noise thing on my in my wagon. I don't feel like walking back, so have to bear with the wind noise. It was an old restaurant out here back when I was really short, and it burned. It's one lonely acre of private property out in the middle of the forest that belongs to the state and the government. I say it's private property. You think it's yours till you stop paying taxes on it, and you realize who really owns it. So I want to go see if I can find it. I just gotta remember how to get out of here. Probably go back the same way I came. Never mind. It's right there in front of me. Well, that was easy enough. There's the old road to it. When I looked for it before, I remembered it as a little kid being right on the side of the road. Of course, there's the road. You just can't drive to it anymore. Well, you can't because you're not here right now. I guess I could if I really had tried, but I didn't want to. My grandmother brought me here when I was real little. Looking back, I don't know why. 'Cause she was kind of semi-high society, and this was 100% not. This is it. Seems like yesterday I was riding the porcelain pony up here in the middle of nowhere. Look at it. I don't know if these are truly, they probably are, some of the old bottles that were here back then. I'm talking about 70s when I came. There's a burner off a gas stove, which is strange. That was the gas line. That one. That looks like just a marker. That looks like a frame off a bed. I don't know how everything got thrown everywhere. There's the chimney over there. Oh, this is awesome. I mean, it's awesome for me. It's probably not awesome for the family who owned it and it burned. You could get into this place one or two ways. You had to know either a secret handshake or bring a tire. A tire got you in for a year. Or at least that's what I'm assuming. But it was, I think people would camp here or stay here. Not necessarily camp, but they would spend the night here if they were hunting. Out here. There's another gas line. I see the well. I should have brought the magnet. It's probably mini. I can always go back and get it though. There's the cash register drawer. Wood burning stove or steel. Clothesline. I know that's not a clothesline. I was just sharing that information with you. Some gutters. There's a leaf. There's an old seat. Off a two-seater Oliver tractor. 1952. 51 was a single-seater. Just kidding about that too. I don't have any idea what kind of food they serve other than what I read, that they had steaks and probably yard bird. A lot of times you take a frame like this and put it around a pine tree, or you just leave it on the ground long enough for the trees to grow up through it. I bet this is a snake habitat in the summer of '69. If I could find the back, not necessarily the back, but the tank of one of those toilets, I could find the year of the toilet. There is a cash register. I'm wrong. That is a typewriter. Dude, why don't you just flip it over, then you'll be able to tell for sure. Well, I was going to, but some people get upset when you disturb artifacts. Okay, cash register or typewriter? I think a cash register. In 100 years, This will be a site of worship of those who used to live here. And only archaeologists will be able to dig that up. And you won't be able to touch it because they'll have a little toothbrush and be brushing the dust off these tech gloves, thinking, wow, that is a 2024 tech glove material. Can you believe that's what the people wore back then? That's probably from the boys' room, and that was from the girls' room. The boys' toilet was always broken, I'm sure. More bed frames. You know what? I mean, I don't know how it all got bent up like this other than just a heat curling it. But like I say, I have no idea how big this place was. I was probably about that tall. I remember I hit my head on that tree right there. Seemed like yesterday. But I had a big fuzzy coat because we were getting ready to move to Germany. And my grandmother had bought me a big fluffy fuzzy coat of something. I don't know what it was made of. And I remember backing up against a heater in this place. Possibly the one sitting over there. This is not a lie. Nor am I kidding. I backed up against this heater and everybody in there started smelling something burning because obviously it was winter. So this had to be the winter of, let's see, I went to Germany in 1981. There's the clothesline. From there to there. That's where you want a metal detector. So this had to be the winter of 80. I went to Germany in the summer of 81. I think. Now, I do not believe there was a sprinkler system on this place, but according to this massive thing that doesn't move, and these brass, these are actually, if these are in good shape, those are pretty expensive. That one's missing all of its insides and everything else. I worked with a contractor replacing all those to the updated ones that are little like glass thingies. That is a serious fence. There's a roll. That one is a serious offense. But I backed up against this. See, y'all thought I forgot. I backed up against this heater, this gas heater with little flames in it. And my fuzzy coat started melting and everyone smelled it. I remember they had biscuits here. And they got their beer from Milwaukee. Somebody move that over. That used to be right there. Now it's right there. So somebody else may have been reading it too. Let's see about where it goes. I think this was a clothesline. It may not have been. It is quite possibly the world's strongest clothesline, if that's what it was, and it went over there. More gas line. If you want to see a shorter version of this, which is going to be too late since you're already here watching it, you can always go to my Facebook page and watch the short reels that I'm going to make of this place. I flip bricks because they're on the ground. Where did they get their water from out here? I guess out of those pipes. That is a fan, a Gigantor fan. There's one of the blades. There's the motor. That is a serious fan. I remember fans when I was a kid that would cut your fingers off. That one right there, you could lose an entire limb. That's where that song Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes came from. The little children would get too close to the fan. Little lantern tops. Holy smokes. You know, if I fell down in there, no one would ever find me. Well, they probably would. They'd see my truck. And they'd come over here. That gives me vertigo looking down in there. I get back on the horizontal. It appears a fawn has met its match right here. It's pretty thick hair. Before we go and okay, look. This is the front, unless there's two sides to it. We'll go over there in a minute. That is a habitat for wildlife humanity. The big brick oven. I wonder if the fan stoked the oven. I don't know either. Let's read. You want to? Yeah, I do too. Look at those. You know what that is? That is a one owner Milwaukee's Best pull tab. 11/22/78. Jim Baker. This is in memory of you, Jim. Unless you're still with us, then here's your pull tab back. $11/22/78. I don't know when this place was built. I was gonna walk through here silent because this place brings back so little memories that I was just gonna savor. Okay, let's take ourselves back inside. If you came here when you were all grown up and not quite as short as I was, did you sleep on one of these cots? There's a bunch of them. These are all cots. So this must be the bedroom. It's cold out here. It went from 20 degrees, 10 to 20 degrees, to about 74 degrees or so the other day, a couple of days ago. Back to cold 40s and wind blowing, which is right now. It's amazing how much fluid is created in your head that falls out of your blowholes when you're walking around outside in the cold. It's just amazing to me. How much liquid could someone possibly have in their head? And where's it coming from? Most likely one of the overhead lights. I bet there are a lot of animals that take shelter here. They may be here right now, waiting on me to leave. This thing started rocking under the feet that are on the end of my legs. And I thought, man, that's heavy. It ain't heavy. There it is. That's where your steak was grilled. There's another well. I'm assuming that was a well. I don't have to anymore because it is a well. It is well. How are there mosquitoes in there? Yeah, according to what I just heard, it is a well. That's where that song comes from. It is well with a hole. So this is the masterpiece. The thing that's always left after we're all gone in an old house or an old anything that had one. This is what's always left. Look at that. Somebody said, hey, run back down to the bottom and get me some of that old fake looking gold rock that falls apart and crumbles in your hands. And I think we're going to start right here on this corner. We need the cornerstone, which is the foundation stone, to hold it all up. And they did. There are different little wet weather creeks that run through the bottom all around here. Well, I imagine a lot of this stone mixes the sandstone and slate stuff and all that. I put my hand over my mouth, that's why I somewhat mumbled. And they put this together, one rock at a time. My guess is they started on the bottom and worked their way up. For those of you who are rock masons, you correct me if you're right. And then they said, hey, now that we've got all this stone at the bottom, it's really easy to shatter. And no, I'm not going to pop any pieces off because I don't want everybody to get triggered. Give me a bunch of kiln fire breathed bricks that weigh 10 times as much. Let's put them on the top because that'll be there. And they were right. They're still there. And here's the back of it that we saw a minute ago. Ain't it awesome? It is awesome. It's actually pretty, isn't it? And actually quite symmetrical, if I say so myself, since I am the one talking right now, and there's nothing you can do to interrupt me. But you could try. Some people do. They'll scream at the screen. They'll scratch and sniff or run across something that's interesting and say, I wonder what that smells like. And they'll scratch the screen. What I want to know is, was there a bottle dump out here? There's a chair. I probably sat there. But probably not. This is it. I think I've shown you almost every piece of metal out here. I think we came over here. Yeah, this is where the deer exploded. From this one time I ran up on a doe that had been hit. I've told some of y'all this story. Almost tripped. Ugh. I don't want to walk near that. It gives me the jeebie-heebies. And the doe, it wasn't going to make it, but its belly was... And I thought there's something in there. So I opened up its belly and a little fawn came out. And it was doing fine somewhat. But it couldn't get up or do anything. It was so small. And we would look at that. And then it stopped moving and breathing and it was gone. But then I noticed its belly was moving. And I cut open its belly and I took out an even smaller fawn. And I thought, this is some kind of miracle. And it took about 2 hands, but there's one holding this camera right here. It moved around a little bit and then it stopped breathing and moving and I had lost it. But I noticed its belly was moving a little bit. And I cut its belly open. Now you gotta remember, I'm like, this is what, my 3rd, 4th deer in. And there was another little fawn in its belly. So now I'm down to a fawn that's about the size of a little Bayer horses, but the small ones. And it pops out and I dried it off and it looked at me and smiled. And then it stopped moving and breathing and I lost it. I want to go over here and look over the edge where you walk back into imaginary property. There's a hillside right there. And I know when I was a smaller human being, my grandparents and the great of those grandparents threw all their garbage over a hill in a pile. That pile is still there today. Ooh, we haven't been over here yet. Try me over at ice. You know, A lot of people have a lot of things wrong with them. And it's not something to make fun of. No, I'm not taking anything out of here. But people who drink a can of tomato juice probably have the most wrong with them. I like little cherry tomatoes. That's a modern. I don't want people to do that. But to put a can of tomato juice in your refrigerator cabinet and then open it up, pop the top and drink it, you've got to have something wrong with you. Hey, what is that? Okay, I figured it out. Where did they get water? All they needed was electricity. They have their well, and then there's a well. They had all the water lines buried out here to here, here, and here. From above, your oxygen mask will fall. You'll stand up here, you'll go this way or this way. And they would pump all the water. They got electricity, I don't know, maybe it was a generator. And they need gasoline, which means they'd need some way to pump the oils from the earth, which means they would have needed dinosaurs. Because without the dinosaurs, you don't have the fossil fuels. Without the fossil fuels, you don't have the activists. I mean, this is like the never-ending journey out here. So that's how they got their water. Dinosaurs. That's pretty neat, isn't it? I think I'm done. If you want to go, I'm going to walk on a little bit more because there is still pieces of metal everywhere here. See, there's a road and there's a creek down there. Gosh, I want to go. Yeah, me too. Okay, let's go before the battery dies. Because people would probably go down here when it was warm and watch their particulate matter in the bottom down here. See, here's a little wet weather creeks. See, here's a road. I could have drove out here, maybe, but I don't know where this road is or where it goes. It's beautiful out here, isn't it? I don't know where my grandmother would park. She always drove a big old stinking humongous Lincoln Continental. Weren't allowed to roll the windows down because it gets dust inside. The radio had never been turned on in my entire lifetime. My granddad was blind, but it had little, if you ever lived in Anniston, or you're from Anniston, you remember the blind man that worked at the Anniston post office. That was my granddaddy. But I was sitting in the back seat. Maybe this is how he got here. Maybe I should have just went this way instead of walking through the woods. But I was sitting in the back seat and there were little ashtrays in the door with little metal caps. You could flick the cap back and open it. They go chick, 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 chick. And I'd be sitting there going chick, 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 open, close, open, close. And Granddad said, y'all stop that back there. Y'all being me and the other person. So we would stop. And then I tried to, and I've told y'all this story, those of y'all who have been walking with me for years. I'd go real slow and open it real slow. He said, I can still hear that. I was like, man, this dude can hear so well. I don't see any large stones here, but on back down towards the other creeks, the larger stones are there, and that may have been where they got all the stones to stack. But this is really pretty in here. I want to know what's around this corner, and then we'll head back up hill. But like I said, the video's over if you need to go. Look. Are they oyster? I don't know either. My dad would know. And then he sent me all the way back out here to get them. And I still respond to him like I'm about 10 to 12 because I care about him and I have respect for him. I said, Daddy, it's so far. He said, just get in the car and drive back out there and get them. I said, all right. I have to go do it. Because that's what we do. I'll always be my daddy, no matter how old I get and how old he gets. It's beautiful out here. So this ridge up here is where the cabin was. A lot of times back in the old days, they say the Indians would bend trees like that right there to mark where they're going. And since, most trees are 1,000 years old, that is proof right there. But a lot of times they'd also bury trees sideways and they would pack dirt on the bottom to keep it alive, and it would be a little bit of a shelter. But I never believed that story. My thumbs are cold. Yeah, there's a little piece of metal right up there. So that's where it was, that's where it sat. But it's gone now. It's a beautiful day, isn't it? I hope you're having a good day. If you want to, take a minute and subscribe to my channel and tell me all about this place. You know what I'd like to hear especially is if you're from Anniston, Alabama. Tell me if you knew my granddaddy or remember him at the Anniston post office selling candy, cigars, cigarettes, newspapers, and magazines back in the 70s. There actually is a day in Anniston named after him, like a teacher's day or whatever, but it's just his name. So thanks for watching my videos.